Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Big Zeus, and welcome to the Freshly Faded Chronicles podcast. And yeah, man, we're here. This is something brand new, so if you guys just bear with me, we're gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make it through. I gotta learn how to do all this stuff. So the reason why I decided I wanted to do a podcast is because I want to be able to, just express myself. Be be who I am with you guys, and meet new people and learn new things, have conversations and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is gonna be kind of cool. Well, with that being said, welcome to the very first episode. I'm so glad you guys are here. And today's topic is me. You know what I'm saying? I want to introduce myself to everybody who's seen me stream Call of Duty or hasn't met me yet. Welcome in. Welcome in. So about me, I'm a 29-year-old husband, father of two, born and raised here in Texas. And essentially, guys, I'm a pretty boring guy. I'm very boring. My whole life, I've always been the type of dude that would just do the same routine over and over again. I was a good kid. I stayed out of trouble. I didn't do too much. I wasn't out looking for trouble. I wasn't trying to fight nobody. I wasn't trying to do nothing. I just tried to stay in my own lane. I tried, you know. Um, and even till now, like I'm trying to break the cycle because I want to learn new things. I want to do new things. I want to go out and explore the world. It's just something that I want to do. These past, if you guys know, these past 5 years have been super crazy for me. Which I'll get into here in a little bit. But these past 5 years have been crazy, and I realized that life is so short. Life is too short. Why am I doing the same thing over and over again? Why am I not taking advantage of being here on Earth and exploring new things? I want to take my kids to Disneyland. I want to take my wife to somewhere cool, somewhere where she wants to go. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to do these type of things. My whole life, I've just kind of been the same guy. I go to school, I'd go home, go to school, go home, and then once I had my first baby, went to work, went home, went to work, went home, and that's it. I didn't do no exploring. I didn't do no nothing. I didn't do anything. Now that I'm 29, I feel like, man, I missed out on a lot. I missed out on a lot of things. I feel so old. I really do. I feel old. A lot of people will say, "Ah, dude, you're still so young. You're only 29. Wait until you're 35 or wait until you're 40." Just I feel like I'm there already. I don't know. I can't get rid of this feeling that I don't know that I feel stuck. And I'm not talking about like in my marriage or anything like that. I'm just talking about like I feel like I can't do anything correct that's good that helps me or my family. I feel like I'm always making the same mistakes, and no matter how hard I try, I stay. And I've always been like this. My brain has always been like this. When I first started working was back in 2014. So that's when I graduated high school. I started working at this uh, warehouse, furniture warehouse place called Bob Mills Furniture. After being there for a little bit in the warehouse, you kind of realize things, um, like hey, we don't make that much money. The salespeople do, you know, yada yada yada, stuff like that. Yeah, you guys work, so you guys know how it is. So I would always tell myself, if I could just make it sales, I could start making money, and maybe I'd be able to take care of my family a little bit better. Well, every little chance that I would get the courage to try to ask if I can move positions, my brain would say, "Bro, we are comfortable where we're at. Let's just stay here. Let's just stay here in the warehouse. Why do we want to move? Why do we want to try something new and fail?" That's what my brain automatically would think is I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna fail. Now I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks like that. I hate that mentality. I try my best to change it because I feel like there's a lot of opportunities that I missed out on because my own brain would be like, dude, we're comfortable where we're at. We're comfortable. That's we're comfortable. Why change it? And it sucks being there. And so I guess the reason why I'm talking to you guys now, man, is because if going back 5 years, 5 years ago in 2020, for you guys who do know, and for you guys who don't know, my wife was 8 months pregnant in October of 2020. From the very beginning of the pregnancy, the doctors were telling us already from the beginning that the baby had a lot of problems. There was nothing we could do about it. They didn't think the baby was going to make it at all. And this was in the beginning of the pregnancy, guys. This was in the beginning of the pregnancy. But me and my wife, we had faith. We had faith that no, they were wrong. The baby was going to come out okay. And so that's what we did. We had faith. Well, in October, she hit 8 months. And I don't know. I can't remember what happened, but they said that I guess the baby was causing something in my wife's body. She was like catching fevers, and I think it was like preeclampsia or something like that. I'm not too sure, but they had to do an emergency C-section because they're like, if we don't take the baby out now, there's a chance that you might not be able to ever have kids, and that's what the doctor told my wife. So like, okay, let's do emergency C-section. Let's get this baby out. Because once the baby's out, we'll be able to take care of it and go from there. Well, of course, the doctors are already telling us, hey, don't get your hopes up. You guys know that there's a high possibility that this baby's not going to make it. Me and my wife, we looked at each other and we're like, no, the baby's going to make it. You know, baby's going to make it. So they do the C-section, and so they're doing the C-section, and they're bringing, and here's baby's coming out, baby's coming out, and I'm just waiting, 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 just waiting for the baby to start crying, just waiting for the baby to start crying, so that way I could look at my wife and smile and be like, look, told you they were wrong. We had faith. They were wrong. And it was silent. I stood up and I see that they put my baby on the tray, on the little, on the, on the bed. And most of the time, you'll see the nurses try to get the little plunger, take the boogers out, spank the baby on the butt, try to get it going, try to keep the baby to start breathing on its own and stuff like that. And nothing. They just let him lay there. They did nothing. And I saw, I saw my baby take a few breaths, maybe like two or three. And afterwards, after those three breaths, he stopped. And they did the whole time of death thing and stuff like that. And when I tell you guys, I felt so broken. I, you know, I was just at a loss for words. I cried so much. I cried a lot. And yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to do. And I thought to myself, man, nothing can get worse than this. Nothing can get worse than this. Boy, was I wrong. So that was in October of 2020. And in November of 2020, my older brother, my only brother, he gets sick. Now, let me give you some perspective. If you guys have seen me, I'm a big boy. Okay. My brother was twice as big as me. So he already had problems with obesity and his weight and stuff like that. So he was already having all kinds of medical problems. Well, he gets COVID, and that was it. it it beat him. I remember I was at work and he was already in the hospital, and my wife texted me and she was like, "Hey, they just told us that he might make it. He's gonna be okay. So don't worry. That's that's what they're telling us. He might make it." Probably like not 30, 40 minutes later, she calls me, "Hey, I'm so sorry to do this, but you need to leave work. I'm gonna come pick you up. You need to get to the hospital now." I'm like, "What? You just told me. You just told me that they said that he's gonna make it. He's gonna be okay." She's like, "Baby, I know. I'm so sorry. That's what they were telling me. Now they're telling us that he's not gonna make it." She's like, "I'm going to pick you up now." So I was like, "Okay." So she goes and she picks me up from work, and we head over to the hospital. And we get to the hospital, and they have him in the ICU. So I'm standing there, seeing him laying down on the bed, and I can't even go into the room because he had COVID. And they say he had COVID. They say he had RSV. They said he had all kinds of things. And there I am, standing, wondering what's going on. Like what? They had the ventilator on him. He wasn't moving. He wasn't doing nothing. So I couldn't stand there. I couldn't stand there. I was literally there for like 5 minutes, and I had to leave. I just couldn't see him like that. So we go home, and me and my wife, we're there. We're in the room, and my wife gets a phone call, and it's my dad. And my dad says he's gone. When I heard that, I felt the peace of me leave. Growing up, I always looked up to my older brother. I always followed him around. I always got on his nerves, and he was gone, and there was nothing I could do. And so I never really recovered from that. I fell into depression. I started eating a lot. I just gave up. I started quitting my jobs left and right, left and right. I had good jobs, but I quit them. I would make any excuse. This ain't going my way, or I can't do this. This is just not for me. Nah, they're treating me like crap, and it was all just lies. I didn't want to do nothing. I fell into this depression that I couldn't get out of, and I was eating my way, eating, 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 and it got the best of me. How 2024, well, so towards the end of 2023, I was so heavy. I couldn't even, I really couldn't even walk. I could walk maybe a few steps and I'd be out of breath. My back would hurt. I was falling asleep all the time. Doesn't matter what I was doing, I'd fall asleep. And in the beginning of 2024, I ended up in the hospital, and it was it was life changing. I had the ventilator. I was almost a goner, but God gave me a second chance. So to go more into me being in the hospital, when I went into the hospital, I weighed 540 pounds. I couldn't breathe. My oxygen levels were so low. I was falling asleep. Doesn't matter what I was doing. I was falling asleep. They take me back into one of the rooms, and I go unconscious. And the doctor told my wife because they tried putting the CPAP machine on me. They tried doing everything he could, but my oxygen kept dropping. So the doctor told my wife, we can put the ventilator on him, but I don't see that working. I give it a few hours max and he's gone. And so the doctor told my wife, you need to go home because by the time you come back, he's like, you need to go home and get you some rest. Because by the time you come back, you're going to have to be planning a funeral. That's what the doctor told my wife when I was laying on bed. But she didn't give up on me. She didn't give up on me. She said she knew how much I hated the ventilator and how I didn't want the ventilator. And she said, you know what? I know my husband's going to be upset with me, but if the ventilator is going to help save him, I want to try it. Let's do it. So they put the ventilator on me, and by the grace of God, a couple days later, I woke up. Don't know how. Don't know how. I have no memory of anything, but I woke up and I realized God was giving me a second chance. And so I decided, well, why don't I do something different? Why don't I do something different? I've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Why don't I try something different that I've never done before or never to think to do? And that's why I got into streaming. I didn't know what streaming was until 2 years ago, which is a crazy thought because now I'm here. As you guys know, I'm streaming Call of Duty or I'm streaming whatever. We're having a good time, and now I'm here on this podcast, putting my feelings out there to you guys. And I can't tell you how blessed that is because if I can just make one person happy, if I can just make one person smile or let one person know that they matter, it's a world changer for me. And so we're only gonna go up and up and up and up as long as we keep grinding and we keep putting the work in. So until next time, appreciate you guys so much for listening. I am Big Zeus, and this is a freshly faded Chronicles podcast. I will see y'all later.